The silence in the room felt amplified, not just quiet, but weighted, expectant. It started with a simple question. Could our thoughts truly shape something so profound as our physical well-being? The images flickered on screen, intricate scans of human brains, pulsating with activity, overlaid with calming visuals of prayerful hands. It wasn't about proving faith, not directly. It was about unveiling a hidden layer to a practice that has resonated across cultures and millennia. For centuries, people have turned to prayer for comfort, solace, perhaps even healing. But what if the answer isn't supernatural? What if there's a scientific explanation brewing beneath the surface of belief? It's a question many grapple with, a desire for meaning, intertwined with a need for logical understanding. The brain, it turns out, is remarkably responsive to intention. Not just any intention, but focused, deliberate ones. We often think of prayer as simply uttering words, a ritualistic act. But consider the sheer concentration required. The deep breath, the unwavering focus. It's a powerful form of mental training. Recent advances in neuroscience are beginning to illuminate this process. Scientists have identified specific regions activated during moments of focused devotion. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive function and decision-making. The amygdala, where emotions reside and are regulated. Even the parietal lobe, involved in spatial awareness and integration of sensory information. These aren't random activations. They form a complex network responding to something deeply ingrained within us. And it's not just about feeling calm. Measurable physiological changes occur too. Heart rate variability slows down, cortisol levels, the stress hormone decrease. It's as if the brain is sending signals downwards, influencing the body's own natural defense systems. A subtle yet profound connection. Think of it like consistently lifting weights. Each repetition strengthens the muscle, and consistent focused intention could be shaping our very being. But there's another crucial factor to consider, the placebo effect. This isn't about tricking the mind. It's a testament to the brain's incredible capacity for self-healing. The belief in a treatment, even if it's inactive, can trigger physiological changes that actually improve health outcomes. Prayer, then, taps into this same neurological mechanism, a potent reminder of the power of our own minds. So we're seeing changes in the brain during prayer. But how can these neural shifts potentially translate into real-world benefits? It's a question that continues to challenge researchers and fuel debate. Are we merely witnessing a fascinating psychological phenomenon, or is there something more fundamental at play? The initial findings sparked a ripple of questions. If focused intention demonstrably alters brain activity, what does that truly tell us about the nature of faith itself? Is prayer simply a sophisticated form of self-regulation? Or is there an underlying mechanism we're only beginning to comprehend? The challenge lay not in dismissing belief, but in seeking a deeper understanding of how it might manifest within the physical world. Researchers have begun exploring this connection through controlled studies, meticulously designed experiments aiming to isolate prayer's impact. Some research has focused on anxiety and stress reduction, revealing that participants engaging in prayer or meditation practices exhibited significantly lower levels of these conditions compared to control groups. These results weren't simply attributed to relaxation. The physiological markers, reduced heart rate variability, decreased cortisol, pointed toward a more profound shift within the nervous system. Intriguingly, preliminary studies have also suggested a potential link between prayer and immune function. While still in its early stages, research indicates that individuals who regularly engage in prayer may exhibit enhanced immune responses to vaccines. However, these findings are complex and require careful interpretation. Controlling for variables like social support and lifestyle factors is paramount. It's crucial to acknowledge the inherent limitations of this type of research. Rigorous controls are notoriously difficult to maintain when studying a practice, deeply intertwined with personal belief. The very act of measuring physiological changes can, itself, subtly influence the outcome, a phenomenon known as the Hawthorne effect. Furthermore, isolating prayer as a singular variable is nearly impossible. It's often interwoven with other practices like mindfulness and social connection. Yet, despite these challenges, the evidence continues to accumulate, painting a fascinating picture of the brain in action during moments of devotion. It forces us to confront the question, are we simply attributing effects to prayer, or are we witnessing something genuinely transformative? The scientific community remains divided. Some remain skeptical, emphasizing the need for more robust methodologies, while others advocate for a more open-minded approach. Perhaps the most compelling aspect is that it challenges our fundamental understanding of causality. Can intention truly shape reality in this way? It's not about proving or disproving faith. It's about exploring how our minds and bodies interact, potentially opening up avenues to self-discovery we never previously imagined. It's a puzzle with countless pieces, demanding patience and a willingness to embrace the unknown. The skepticism wasn't unfounded. Of course, the very notion of a quantifiable prayer effect seemed almost reductive. To reduce something so deeply personal and profoundly spiritual to measurable brainwaves felt like stripping it of its essence, like trying to capture the scent of rain in a jar. Yet, dismissing these findings entirely would be equally short-sighted. Consider the broader context of human experience. For millennia, communities have relied on shared rituals, collective intention, and the power of belief to navigate hardship, foster resilience, and find meaning in the face of uncertainty. These practices, often labeled as prayer, consistently demonstrate a profound impact on well-being, regardless of their religious framework. It's tempting to frame this solely through the lens of neuroplasticity, suggesting that focused intention literally reshapes neural pathways. While this is undoubtedly part of the story, it doesn't fully explain the depth and breadth of these effects. The collective experience of prayer, for instance, the sense of connection, empathy, and shared purpose, could be generating powerful neurological cascades beyond simple brain restructuring. Moreover, exploring solely the how risks overlooking the why. Why do people turn to prayer in the first place? Is it simply a biological response? Or is there something deeper at play, a fundamental human need for connection, transcendence, and meaning-making? These are questions that science alone cannot fully answer. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect lies in considering the concept of altered states of consciousness. Research suggests that prayer can induce temporary shifts in awareness, a sense of detachment from the ego, heightened intuition, or even experiences resembling mystical encounters. These subjective experiences, however, remain notoriously difficult to measure and interpret objectively. How do we reconcile these profound transformations with a purely mechanistic understanding of the brain? It's not about choosing between science and spirituality. Rather, it's about recognizing that they represent complementary perspectives on reality, two lenses through which we can attempt to understand our place in the universe. The challenge lies in integrating these seemingly disparate viewpoints into a more holistic framework. The conversation shifted subtly then, not a sudden debate, but a gradual unfolding of contrasting viewpoints. Skeptics continued to emphasize methodological limitations, advocating for more rigorous controls and demanding definitive proof of causation. They argued that attributing effects solely to prayer risked overlooking simpler explanations, stress reduction, social support, or placebo phenomena that could account for the observed outcomes. Yet, proponents of a more expansive interpretation pointed to the inherent complexity of human experience. Prayer, they suggested, wasn't simply about reciting words or engaging in a specific practice. It was a deeply embodied act, an expression of vulnerability, trust, and hope. The very act of seeking solace through faith could trigger powerful neurological responses that went beyond measurable parameters. It's tempting to reduce spirituality to a purely biological process, to dissect prayer into its constituent neural pathways and physiological markers. But such an approach risks missing the point entirely. It's akin to analyzing a symphony by examining only the individual instruments, neglecting the harmony they create together. Consider the concept of collective intention. Research suggests that groups engaged in shared practices, chanting, meditation, or even simply holding hands, can exhibit amplified physiological effects compared to individuals acting alone. This highlights the power of social connection and shared belief in shaping our experience of reality. Furthermore, exploring purely scientific explanations can sometimes inadvertently diminish the profound significance of religious experiences for those who hold them dear. Dismissing prayer as a psychological phenomenon risks invalidating deeply held beliefs and fostering feelings of alienation. A more nuanced approach requires acknowledging both the subjective richness of faith and the objective insights offered by science. Ultimately, perhaps the most valuable takeaway isn't whether or not prayer works in a quantifiable sense, a question that may remain perpetually unanswered. Instead, it's recognizing the potential for focused intention, regardless of its source, to profoundly influence our minds, bodies, and lives. It's an invitation to explore the intricate relationship between consciousness, experience, and reality itself. The question lingered, not a definitive answer, but an enduring invitation for further exploration. Perhaps the scientific inquiry into the science of prayer isn't about proving or disproving its efficacy, but rather about illuminating a fundamental truth, that our minds possess a remarkable capacity to shape our experience of reality. It's tempting to frame this as a binary, science versus faith, a perpetual battle between reason and belief. But the most profound discoveries often emerge at the intersection of these seemingly opposing forces. Neuroscience, in its quest to understand consciousness, is forcing us to reconsider long-held assumptions about the nature of reality itself. Consider the concept of observer effect, a cornerstone of quantum physics where the act of observation fundamentally alters the observed system. Could prayer, then, be viewed as a form of focused observation, a deliberate act of directing attention towards a desired outcome? It's a provocative idea, one that challenges our conventional understanding of cause and effect. Ultimately, this isn't about finding a simple answer to a complex question. It's about embracing the inherent ambiguity of existence, recognizing that many profound experiences defy easy explanation. The pursuit of knowledge should be driven, not by a desire for certainty, but by a genuine curiosity, a willingness to explore the unknown, with humility and open-mindedness. Perhaps the most significant outcome of this journey isn't the discovery of a definitive prayer effect, but rather a deepened appreciation for the intricate dance between mind, body, and spirit. It's an invitation to cultivate greater self-awareness, to recognize the power of our own intentions, and their potential impact on our lives and the world around us. Let this be a reminder. The search for meaning is not a destination, but a continuous process, a lifelong exploration fueled by curiosity, compassion, and a profound respect for the mysteries that lie at the heart of human experience. This video has come to an end, but the discovery continues. Check out more content on the channel and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thank you for watching.